Hello, everyone, and welcome back to BSG Annual 2018. We've resolved our tech issues after having some issues. So we're gonna start off the run soon, but I would also like to make a quick announcement. There is a flu going on, so the rest of the schedule is fairly unstable. So the most up-to-date version will be on the speedrun.com page, accessible by using the !schedule command. Be sure to use those after every run. Everything might change on the spot. We'll have to deal with it on our own as well. And with that said, I would like to pass the mic over to Fireman PC, who will be running Millennium Racers Y2K Fighters, the Easy Championship percent. And I wish him the best of luck on his run.
Thank you very much. I am going to play Millennium Racer. It's a game from 1999, and we're in the distant future, the year 2000. And according to the developers, in the future, the internet will be manual. So you have to take a bike, like you see on screen here, and you have to deliver your data over the internet. That's the story of the game. So I made a BSG character. I'm going to start the championship, and the time starts once I finish the countdown. So it's 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Millennium Racer. It's an old game. It looks very futuristic, very Tron-like. And the idea is to race. This is also the beginning of the race block, if I'm correct. And the first glitch will happen here. Hopefully I can get it. It's a bit more difficult now. I'm playing in a different resolution than I'm usually playing at. There we go. Now I need to count. 5 should be okay. Nope. So I jumped back into bounds too soon and I got a minus lap. So that immediately loses me 30 seconds. So that's very bad for the for the timing, but it shouldn't happen anymore, hopefully. So what happens here is that I jump out of bounds. Timer starts running. It counts from. Oh, this is much more difficult now. I have a different resolution. Five. Should be fine now. Okay. So that's a cool message. If you're in chat and you see the cool message, please am cool. That's the way the game makes me feel better about myself, so you can too. Each time the cool message shows up, it's either a skip or you go exceedingly fast that the game can't keep track. See, that's how the jump is supposed to work. And now I don't have to count, I just have to wait till the 23 seconds have passed and jump back into bounds, and it's a cool. So that's cool. Very cool. And that is a decent lap. Anything below 32 seconds is a good lap. And I haven't finished explaining the trick yet actually, so I should before the track is over. So you jump out of bounds, a timer starts running, it counts for 10 seconds. Once those 10 seconds are up, you spawn on the last known location on the track, which is where I jumped out of the track. And you need to wait at least 5 seconds out of bounds before you can jump back into bounds there, or you get the minus lap, which is what we saw in the first track. So it's pretty complicated, but it's doable to perform it like 7 times in a row, which is what you need for the professional championship. And on easy, you only need to do it 5 times. So that's doable as well. And luckily, the last 3 laps have all been good enough that I don't have to count. I'm very bad at counting. I go 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not really, my counting isn't consistent enough for that. But we've managed to get all the other laps just fine, under 32 seconds. So that's the other speed mechanics I will explain next track, because this one is a bit too short to go into the actual speed mechanics of the game. 5, I hope. Please. Okay, good. Glad I didn't get 2 minus laps, because that would have put me behind a full minute. So that's the first track done. this is the second track, and I will explain the speed mechanics here. When I jump onto these golden paths, they're called superconductors in the game. I just call them boost strips. When I jump on the boost strips and I boost, I press the boost button, then you immediately gain a lot of speed. And we use that to build up as much speed as possible. Manage that. And when I build up enough speed, I continue to tap boost, and it will decelerate me a lot slower than when I just let the game one out. So now I'm boosting, I get up to, there are a few limits in this game on speed. There is no max limit, but there is a limit on when you can accelerate. So if I start boosting now, I will actually slow down to 640 miles per hour. Oh, that was terrible. And once I go 640 miles per hour, I can speed up again. But if I am going this fast, for example, and I boost, then I just lose speed. So that's not worth it. So I just keep tapping boost until I reach the next golden path of boost strip, and then I boost up again to gain a lot of speed. So now I'm going 1200 miles per hour, and I try to keep that through this tunnel. But one of the main problems with these tunnels in the game is that they don't behave like tunnels. They usually behave like walls, so if you run into one of the corners, you're just immediately slowed down. And sometimes, in very rare cases, they can even just give you a speed boost for no reason. That's how you're supposed to zigzag past those. You also saw me not take those superconductors there, or boost paths. That's because I was going much faster than 960 miles per hour, which is the acceleration limit for when you're on those golden paths. I know it sounds very complicated, but you get used to it. So it's just trying to build up as much speed in one go, and then tapping all the way through the rest of the track. And here you try to skip some corners, but once you hover above the area that's outside the track, so you saw those yellow stripes on the edge there, if you hover past them, you immediately start slowing down. So you do have to remain on the track somewhat. Like these green stripes on the left side here, they also slow you down if you go over them. And each time you see me boosting before I see a boost strip, that's when I use boost to slow down to the 940 mark, so I can accelerate as soon as I hit the boost strip here. You also see that I jump at the end of every boost strip. As long as you're in the air, it still counts the effect of the boost strip. So that is actually an intended mechanic. The tap boosting is not intended. And the way I found that out is that last year, in 2017, they found this game on a dev kit of the Dreamcast. And it seemed to be a much later version than this one. The tracks actually had names. The tracks in this version are called Spaceport 1, 2 and 3, and then War 1, 2 and 3. But the Dreamcast version actually has names. And in the Dreamcast version you can't tap to continue with a decent speed, so it's automatically a lot slower than the PC version. I haven't tried everything yet because well, I just couldn't get into it with how slow it went. And this track went pretty well, I would say. Up 45 seconds was a good time for each lap. This is the map I had most trouble with during practice. I'm playing on a keyboard that's not mine because I forgot my own keyboard, which was a dumb move. And I can't really tell how long I'm supposed to hold down the spacebar here. So I want to chain these all together, but I missed the last one here. And normally I would get that one, so I would go much faster, something around 1400 miles per hour. And you can see the miles per hour on the left side of the screen. And at the top left, you also see a boost meter. I never really won out of boost, but it is possible if you play the game casually that you won out of boost. And then you need to either go across those golden paths or pick up one of those brown rings you've seen so far. I'm going to slow down here, once again to 940 miles per hour or somewhere around that range. So I can boost up here and chain these together, hopefully. Yes, that went well. So this is a really good speed. This could be a decent lap at least. And my goal is to show at least one decent lap for each track, because it's really difficult to pull off everything in one in every lap. This is pretty good.
Fireman, could you pause the timer for a bit, because we are having some technical difficulties with your capture. Timer is now paused. We'll remind you when it continues.
Okay.
Okay, we're back. So do we just get a countdown for you?
Okay. 3,
2, 1, go.
Oh, okay. I need to slow down.
We're seeing a lot of cool things there, but did you know that this game also has a very cool incentive, which is the bonus track? It is still 130 euros away from being met, and the cutoff is at the very last bit of the run. But Fireman, could you spoil them a little bit about how good this bonus track is?
The bonus track is one of the only tracks that I did not have the world record for but before 2017. So it's really worth to see me try to get it done. It's one of the hardest tracks in the game, and it has a specific jump that is just really hard to pull off. So if I get the chance to show that off, that would be pretty awesome. And now I'm going to try to chain these together again. That was, you probably didn't notice it, but the boost fell away. So that means I hovered a bit too close above the ground to get the proper chain. And that means you do not get the same amount of speed that you would normally get. So now I'm going a lot slower here as well, just because I missed that chain jump earlier. Now I don't even really need to slow down that much here. Just a little bit to 960. Jump, 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 and I messed up that jump again. I hit an upward slope, and when you hit an upward slope, you slow down. But in this game, when you hit a downward slope, you also slow down. So you would think that you would get some sort of boost or something, but nope. It's just every slope slows you down. And this is the fourth track, War 1. And the next two tracks both resemble the same planet, sort of. And they all have these really very entertaining tunnels with spikes. And they're not that hard to avoid, but once you start going fast, they are hard to avoid. And it's also important to grab that boost strip there, or you don't leave this tunnel with enough speed to do this, which is just jump over part of the map. That's no problem. We jump around the track here, so we can hold our boost longer, and then we start tapping through this entire part, and it saves a lot of time. And you might have noticed that there are names at the bottom left of the screen. These are NPCs. You don't really see them that much. And if you do, it's when I pass them by. And I usually lap each of them 2 or 3 times, especially on easy. On a professional championship, there's an extra NPC that's a bit better than the other ones, the ones you see now. But even him I lap at least once, so not that big of a deal.
While Fireman is jumping around the track, we are also jumping around every month, because we are holding the monthly marathons in the Benelux. And we are streaming from you live from Bladel this time, but usually the monthly marathons are done in the EGA over in Alphen. We are also going to thank the ESA for supporting the event and for allowing us to stream on their channel for the first time. They've also provided us with some additional equipment, as well as their experience and knowledge on things like tech and hosting and everything else. So for that, we'd really like to thank them.
Cool. What I have to say to that.
Cool indeed.
And what you might have seen last lap and the lap before that is that I just jumped across the track indeed and skip a part of the level. That's actually an intended skip, I think. I mean, it just looks really obvious. It was one of the first ones I found. Not this one. This one is not intended. And I don't even know if this one saves any time. So yeah, that doesn't really matter. But the one at the end, that's definitely an intended one, I would say. Especially because it also always gives the cool message. I think they intended that to be used. Oh my god, there's a fly on my hand. Get off. You can you also may have also noticed that sometimes I start boosting even when I'm going slower than what than the limits I set earlier. That's because for some reason when you boost, your bike changes form. As you can see, it like stands forward or something. It's like some sort of attacking position of a spider, and that increases the acceleration on boost trips. So sometimes I just start boosting before I hit one of these boost trips, even when I'm going at the optimal speed, because it would still increase the acceleration. And this corner here has a different property for the bike. So the bike has some sort of hover property, and below the bike is some invisible shield. And if you use that to corner against the wall, it actually doesn't slow you down. But if you hit your edges of your bike against the wall, it does slow you down. All these tracks have been decent, by the way. All sub 55 seconds. I expected myself to bump into one of these spikes already, but I haven't. So if you have any other messages or donations, feel free to.
We do currently not have any donations, but how's your ViewSonic monitor? Because I heard they were pretty good. But yeah, ViewSonic sponsored a good few monitors for this event. Both used in the streaming area as well as for practice monitors, and with minimal latency for speed and accuracy. They simply understand gamers and want to show their support to continue BSG and to spread the love and gamers to Europe. Also, if you're a Twitch Prime user, you can consider using your free monthly subscription right here on the ESA channel. That gets you both access to the ESA and the BSG emotes, and you will get to support both of the events.
Thank you very much for that information. This is a new track, and this is the real PogChamp track. It also has a cool message in it, and this one is really cool. So it should say double. It should actually be double cool. It happens at the starting line, so this is also pretty cool. This is just a long chain jump. It's the speed ring. Hover over these sort of beehive structures, and if you do it perfectly like that, you also get a cool message there. But that's not the one I'm talking about. What I'm talking about happens here, and I think I'm going to slow for. Oh yeah, okay. I wasn't even going to slow for it, but I did mess it up. But we will see the the cool skip, and I won't spoiler it because it's cool. But you will see it soon. I hope this lap. As long as I don't drop this chain, it should be possible pretty much every lap. So this is a really tight fit here. Yeah, this is decent. So here I try to double jump to avoid that guy. Here we go. We just jumped over the entire wall and over past half of the track. It is truly amazing. And I dropped the combo. That's less amazing. But I still can gain enough, decent enough speed to make it through the ice structures properly. Hopefully. Not really. But I can gain some speed at the end here that would make up for it. So this time I'm not going over the wall because I'm going way too slow. But there's another gap here. If I get it. There we go. Wasn't perfect, but it's still a lot shorter than taking that corner. Preferably you do the jump 5 times out of 5, and it is possible. It's not. It is quite hard, but it's not impossible to do it. So let's hope we get to see some other ones. And that was a really good corner there. So I'm going a lot faster than I was previously. which makes this jump a lot harder, and I messed it up. But I'm going fast enough to this. And that was okay. So that went through the gap and not over the wall. It's a bit slower, but not a lot. And every lap here below 35 seconds is pretty much okay. Below 32 seconds is really good. And below 31 seconds is really hard. And these beehive structures you saw there, they are also sloped. So if you hit them, if you don't press the space button at exactly the right time, damn, that would have made it, but it was the last lap. If you don't press jump at correctly the right time at a sloped surface, you will always slow down. So that makes those jumps really hard, and I'm really glad I got them, because during practice I had a lot of problems with them. This is another large tunnel map, so if you have anything else to mention, then now is a good time, because these aren't that interesting.
I mean, I do, and I think you're really gonna like this one, because I know you you had an incentive going on for the bonus track. That one is at 20 euros out of 150. So if you want to see that, then I would recommend donating, because that lap is incredibly interesting. You could almost say it is cool.
Exactly, you could say that. It does have another cool message. So if you like to be cool, donate for it. And now we speed up to a very high speed. We take this boost wing. We usually go around 39 miles per hour. And that's how we're going to go through this tunnel. And it's really difficult. So I hope I can. As you can see, the camera doesn't really keep up either. It just sort of moves around a bit. And this was pretty good. Not the top speed, but... and if you've noticed, I keep bumping my head here. I do that on purpose, because this bike, like I said previously, has some sort of hover mode after you land. And if you jump during that hover mode, you actually over jump on that spot. So you bump your head against the next tunnel, or the next boost strip. And you immediately lose all your speed, and you lag behind like 5 seconds for the rest of the lap. So that's why I bump my head there. It's on purpose. If I bump my head here, it's not on purpose. But I didn't. So this is a really good speed for the tunnel. Each time you see me here at 1000 miles per hour, that means it's a good lap. And this was not good. Now I have to hope that I get this ring correctly and that I can corner here properly. Yeah, that was okay. And that wasn't. I finally hit a NPC. It was bound to happen. They always get in your way despite being completely terrible. And there is collision in this game. You might not expect it, but there is. And it's really weird. And sometimes you get knocked up into the air and you get stuck between the map and the ceiling. I've had that happen in a one before. Also during a marathon, so that was pretty interesting. I had to reverse to get back under the back into the track. On my head? Oh my god, why did I fail this twice? Not that hard.
So do we have time for a quick donation?
Sure, go ahead.
We have a €5 anonymous donation saying, a cool run of a cool game with cool skips. That donation also put us 125 euros away. The incentive will be cut off whenever he finishes the current run, so you only have just about half an hour to get your donations in, everyone.
I'm not sure how am I doing on time? Like what time are we at?
We are at 22 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, that's okay. I need to boost here to slow down, otherwise I'm going to miss that tunnel, and I did. But at least I got that jump correctly this time, so that makes up for it. And you can see me bump into the wall there. That's something I recently discovered, that instead of just taking the corner without grabbing that speed boost ring, the green arrow rings are the ones that increase your speed by 250 miles per hour, regardless of how fast you're going. So if you go through them, you will always increase in speed. And if you take it and bump at the wall at the right angle, you can continue the rest of the lap with 1200 miles per hour instead of like 1000 miles per hour, which is a big difference, of course. And this is another track where you just chain everything together, pray to RNGs that this tunnel acts like a tunnel, and if it does, then you're okay, and if it doesn't, then you're screwed. It's really good. Going through this at 1000 miles per hour is very useful because you also get a giant speed boost at the end here. If the tunnel doesn't behave as a tunnel, which tunnels often do in this game, then you will usually exit that at like 600 miles per hour, and this jump is really difficult. You can bump into the, you can't jump too high because you'll bump your head against the entrance, and you can't jump too low because you bump your head against the track. And how high you jump depends on how long you hold down the space bar, which is why I was really worried that I had to play on another keyboard, because because the space button is a lot different than mine, a lot more sensitive, so it's a bit more difficult to check out how long I have to hold down the space bar. But it seems to be going well so far. And you also saw me do this jump here to the left instead of going to the rest of the track. That's also cool, as you can see. There's a lot of cool things in this game. I have the big box of this game, and it doesn't say cool on the front. I don't know why they didn't put that on there. Maybe it would have sold more. And then the Dreamcast version may have actually happened instead of it just showing up 2 decades later. I have to say, for decades old, this game looks pretty good still. Maybe that's just my opinion, and then maybe I'm biased. Got to make sure correctly. If we jump before the tunnel and then land inside the tunnel, there's a bigger chance that the tunnel behaves like a tunnel. Am I making sense? Probably not, but that's how the game works. So by jumping before you enter the tunnel, it actually behaves more how you want it to, at least. And that helped a lot with this track. Before, I had really a lot of problems with getting a time under sub 1 minute. And now pretty much every lap is sub 1 minute. And the really good laps are sub 55 seconds. I haven't really paid any attention to the time because I'm too busy focusing on the track. But since this is my best lap so far, I probably didn't have a sub 55 second lap yet. So the speed run of this game usually focuses on individual levels, because a lot of this is just really inconsistent. Like this jump can just do whatever it wants. Like now I'm going much faster than I was last lap. For no apparent reason. I did the jump on the exact same spot. Was going at pretty much the same speed, and I exited the tunnel at a much lower speed also than previously, so that's also different. And it's just really, I think it's a really fun game. It keeps throwing things at you that you don't expect. And the only thing that's really a constant is that when you're going above 940 miles per hour, tap boost. When you're not, jump onto a boost strip and boost to go fast. And that's pretty much the entire game. What you may have seen is that I missed, well, I don't miss it. I skipped that speed boost ring. That's because I'm going to accelerate here, and if I pick up that speed boost ring before before I start accelerating, then the speed goes down, as you can see right now. So now I'm actually going slower because I picked up that speed boost ring. So that's like some advanced strategies, because you expect speed boost rings and speed boost strips to speed up your bike, but they don't. At least not always. This is the final lap of this level. This one didn't have much cool skips, but we will see some more later. A very big one at the final track, and another one at the bonus incentive, if that gets met, and I hope it does. It's a really cool jump. And you skip more than half of the track in that lap. In that track, I mean. This track here has a different starting point. like the first lap is different than all the other laps. I tried to chain these three together. I didn't, but that's the that's the point. And then I boost up using all these speed rings to around 1400 miles per hour. And then I do my best to not fall down here. These are one of the most difficult tracks. Because a lot of things can go wrong and very little things can go right here. And you also get these beehive structures there back in the next part around the corner here. So I slow down before I corner. Jump onto this beehive, hoover jump, try to hoover jump again, and those all together give me just enough speed to finish this lap without having to accelerate again. So that was actually a really good example of how it should work, but it doesn't always work like that. Now I'm going at a reasonable speed and this gets a lot harder. I made it through. That's good. So you use the speed you've built up in the previous lap near the end for pretty much the entire lap. And we're going to do the same here. Slow down a bit. Try to get all these jumps. Okay, nice. This is really good. 1300 miles per hour. That's damn it. That was optimal until I messed it up. And I messed it up again, but I can fix it here. So I can drive into that pillar, kind of jump into the air, and gain a lot of, well, not a lot, but just enough boost to make this reasonably fast. But there are a lot of backup strats you can do, because you will screw up eventually. But luckily there are backup strats. As long as there's a golden path near you, you can regain most of your speed. And if you happen to lose speed at an area where there aren't any golden paths, well then you might as well reset. But if we are talking about resets, we probably would have reset at the minus lap at the start of this one, because that was a 30-second loss. And that's why this game, when I run it, it's just 5,000 attempts of the first track, and once I get through it, I just always finish the actual race. And this game is actually so awesome that it caused all the technical difficulties here. So that's when you know it's a good game.
I have a small question from chat.
Yeah.
Where can you get this game? Because it wasn't released on the Dreamcast, but where did it get released?
It got released on the PC, which is the version I'm playing right now. Where to get it? That's a difficult question. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to answer that. I would say it's abandonware, but I know that's a gray area, so I'd rather not touch it.
Well, I hope that will that's enough of an answer for you, chat.
eBay. EBay always works.
eBay is apparently the answer. Always go eBay.
Yeah,
so
always go. And it's not even expensive on eBay. I bought the big box version for like $5.
Ooh.
So well, you can buy it just from eBay.
So while I'm talking anyway, I would like to remind everyone that we are raising money for the Dutch Cancer Society, a nationwide organization committed to fight cancer while aiming for more cure and a higher quality of life for those already battling the disease. 95% of your donations will go towards the Dutch Cancer Society. The other 5% will help us improve the quality of the stream.
Thank you very much. New track, new chances for cool. And here's one right away. There we go. That's the same skip we saw earlier. Just jump. Just don't follow the roundabout. Just jump over it. Most of these tracks also have out of bounds ways to finish the track, like or at least skip half of it. But they are not faster. So if you're good enough at this game, not going out of bounds is actually faster than going out of bounds. But for the Dreamcast version, that might be different. I haven't tested everything yet, but because you can tap boost there to continue to gain speed, you pretty much have to skip through out of bounds. I wouldn't call this out of bounds. I think this was just called cool. it's clearly an attended skip. That's why they added the message. And you also constantly hear speed maxed out if you've been listening carefully. My speed is never maxed out. It just said speed maxed out, and I'm already going almost twice as fast. Well, that's not true, but at least 400 miles per hour faster. So, and I got a cool message for a weird reason. I think it's because I sort of went out of bounds by jumping over those pyramids. But that cool message doesn't always trigger. A really good lap. Sub 42 seconds. I don't have a list with the world records here, but they're pretty. I think this one has a sub 41 second lap as best lap, but sub 42 seconds is really good. And jump over these pyramids here. And this was how I intended it to go the first time, first 2 times actually, but that didn't work. And that's where I near the end there, when I drive against the wall, I actually intend that as well. So I can jump up and immediately hover above the boost strip, and that will allow me to immediately start gaining speed before I hit the boost strip in front of the finish line. And that helps out a little bit. Most of the, oh damn, that was very bad. I jumped way too late. So I hit the ground for like a second, and I immediately stopped gaining speed, and now I'm going way too slow to jump over these pyramids. And that's the entire lap ruined in one easy step. You just have to miss one jump and you are done for, pretty much. You can sort of make up for it here by going a bit faster, but then the corner is too hard to make and you actually lose speed while cornering. Cornering in this game doesn't work as you think it might work. You don't hold down the arrow buttons, you have to tap them. If you hold them down, you will almost always lose speed. There's some sort of grip in this game. It especially gets terrible once you start boosting and cornering at the same time. So I try to avoid that as well. But even when you don't boost and you corner, sorry, I had to focus for a bit. Even if you boost and corner at the same time, you lose a lot of speed. And this is the final track, unless you donate right now. I'm not sure how much we have left.
We are still 125 euros away, chat. So you have one more track, and then we shall be cutting off this incentive.
I'm sure everyone has 120 lying around somewhere. 125, right?
I mean, anything can happen. This we have seen very big donations as a snipe before, so who knows?
Hype this track. That's what we. Oh my God! I screwed up at the beginning of the lap, and the entire lap is immediately ruined. This lap has some sort. This track has a kind of reset point, which is right in this tunnel right here. It's where I slow down below 640 and just start boosting. And then I start gaining speed, continue boosting. As you can see, there's no limit, unless you run out of boost, which I almost have. So I need to grab this one. And this is the most difficult jump in the game. If I get it, that would be fantastic. One Hoover jump. No, that wasn't it. We have 4 more attempts, and I'm going to keep trying it because I'm dumb. And I want maximum risk. Okay, that works. So that skips most of that lap, and you get another cool message. But what I intended to do is something I will hopefully be able to show you. Probably not, but hopefully. I have done it in a marathon before, once, out of 7 laps, I think it was. Basically, you jump before you, while you hit the first part of the track, then you jump again. Then you jump on top of a fence, and then you slow down. And you have to slow down exactly enough to not bump into the track above. That isn't making any sense, but you will see if I ever do it. And if I don't do it, you can look it up. It's a really cool skip. I think the coolest in the game by far. Let's see here. going at optimal speed, so that's good. I grab. So this is the first jump. I need to hover a bit here, and I need to jump here, and that's good. That's I should be more happy with that, but I know it can be done better. But that's a really good lap, 1 minute and 3 seconds. So that almost got it, except that I didn't slow down enough, so I hit that wing on the edge of the track there. And you can immediately jump onto the track and continue. That's the best case scenario, and this was like the second best case. So I didn't fall off, I didn't do anything crazy, and I got a nice sub 1 minute and 5 second lap, which is really good. That was a very bad corner, but I need to slow down there anyway, but that was a bit too slow down. Because I really need to reset, like I said, it's like a reset of the one midway through the track. And you just reset your speed and then build it up again. And all for the purpose of doing this jump correctly. And that wasn't it. So that's what happens like the majority of the time. And then we just do this. Oh no, oh okay, fine. I almost fell down. If you fall down into the lava or in anything else, I'm sure you've seen the hazards on the tracks. I haven't fallen into any because I'm a great player, of course. But if you fall into them, you have to wait for like 3 seconds before you respawn back onto the last known location on the track. So that can be pretty bad, especially near the end. So far I've gotten like 1 minute rounds, 1 minute 5, 1 minute 10. If you drop down there and you have a bad spawn point, you immediately lose 20 seconds. So that's just to put things into perspective, why you don't want that to happen. These ditches here can also be very annoying. If you hover above them, you start losing speed, and you can't. Well, you can accelerate afterwards again, but just like I said before, you have to go lower than 640 miles per hour before you can accelerate with just boost. Damn it! Oh no! I mean, I'm glad I got it once, sort of, but this is it's a very difficult jump. But I would like to have shown it more than once. These laps aren't all bad. What's my time at the moment?
You are at 41 minutes and 10 seconds.
Okay, that's fine. Not super good. The world record for this category is 39 minutes and 37 seconds. And so far it's the only one I've had that was sub 40 minutes.
That is underestimate. We can't ask for more than that, right?
That's true. And I've actually have my my own profiles here on this PC as well, so we can compare the times to what my PB or the world record is. So we can do that after the one to see if I got at least close on some of the laps. And I think I've done pretty good so far. I've not done any major mistakes. Almost. Now I need to jump up here.
Famous last words.
Damn. Not last words yet, I think. Still need to jump back up here. And now I'm jumping against the track from the bottom. There we go. See, that is one of the mistakes. And, this is the end. This is time.
Yep. It was a 42-20.
That's not that bad. We can compare the race results to my...
Sadly, we did not meet the incentive, so
that's too bad. It was it's this track. The last record I set was. But here are my other times, so we can compare some of them. See how close I got. 1 second difference. This one is very bad. Or well, maybe my real time is really good. That could be there too. This one is really close. This one is also really close. So I haven't done that bad in terms of best lap. I think my times will be quite a lot worse. So it keeps track of all your times, which is pretty good. As you can see here, I had a minus lap that cost me 30 seconds, but all the other laps also weren't the quickest.
Hey, at least it was a pretty cool run, right?
Yeah, it had a lot of cool stuff in it.
Lots of cool things.
A lot of cool messages as well. I felt really good during this one. I really felt like I was being appreciated by the PC after all it had done against me before the one with the setup it's made up here. Here I actually got a good time on Inky 3, better than the than my personal best on Fireman. So that's really good. That's probably even a world record, but I'm not sure. I sometimes use other characters, but that was all I have to show for now. And we're going to continue with the racing block, if I'm not mistaken.
We are indeed. And up next, we have Mario 64, the skips category, ran by Mr. Mean Mustache. So be sure to stay tuned.